So sooner, probably than later, we're going to see Daniel Craig leave the role of 007, leave James Bond behind. He said before he doesn't want to do it. I like Daniel Craig. The guy can do really good as James Bond, but I understand he wants to leave, do other projects, and it's a hard job to do playing James Bond. You got a lot of action, a lot of stunt choreography. He doesn't want to do that. He's got better things to do. Or does he? I don't know what Daniel Craig has going on, but I'm sure he's got other things he wants to work on, other projects he wants to know how to do and learn and, grow as an artist instead of just focusing on this one role. So today I'm going to talk about who should replace him as James Bond. James Bond has been known to replace its actors. We've seen like 6 incarnations of James Bond starting from 1962. Nothing new here. It's normal. It's normal that we see these people be replaced with new actors, new people. And yeah, so let's see who should be the next James Bond. I'm going to start with the obvious ones. I don't have a lot on my list here that I don't think anyone's talked about before. I think most of these names have been brought up before except for a few. And that's pretty obvious. So number 1, I have Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy is the perfect guy you can put in any role, and he'll make it his own. He's gruff, he's versatile, he's got the gravitas and the weight to every performance he brings in. He perfected grunt acting with Mad Max and Taboo, and you can make him this more like feral kind of James Bond. Sure, he'd be good as Wolverine. No one's denying that. He'd be great as Wolverine. But as James Bond, we can see the classness and just how suave and sharp Tom Hardy can really be once he cleans up and does good. So after Tom Hardy, speaking of Wolverine, I have Hugh Jackman. Yeah, people, I don't know. It's a weird choice, but I understand the idea of putting Hugh Jackman in this role. I love Hugh Jackman. The guy is an incredible actor. He's talented in everything he does, and he looks suave and classy, and like you can see this guy being this British intelligence as a smart spy. I think he's got the look, he's got the sex appeal, he's got the suave and the class, and everything about him just screams, hey, look at me, I'm important, I'm Hugh Jackman, I'm awesome, and I can do any role I want. He was Wolverine. Let's put him as James Bond now. Hugh Jackman, let's go, buddy. And I got a younger actor on my list here for my next one. I have Taron Egerton. He just surprised me in Kingsman. I love Kingsman. Kingsman was one of my favorite movies of 2015. Everything he did in that movie I thought was incredible. The guy can act, and I think he needs another big opportunity. Say after Kingsman's done, we get 2 or 3 more Kingsman movies, and he wants to actually step out and become James Bond. I think that'd be a good segue for the character to go from kind of this like mockery of James Bond to actually becoming James Bond. I think that'd be really cool for Taron Egerton to do. Really interesting development for him as an actor, and it would really make his career. People would be talking about it for a long time. The guy that made a mockery of James Bond is now James Bond. We'd see a new side of James Bond, a new light of James Bond. He'd probably be a little more sarcastic, a little more funny, and he's young. He's a young actor, and he could really pull it off. Grow into the role over time. We can do another Casino Royale style where we see the character come from where he started off to where he is now. Taron Egerton, great actor, perfect for James Bond. So yeah, I got that. And another choice, Damian Lewis. I heard this name get tossed around before. Damian Lewis, the guy from Homeland. I don't know a lot about Homeland. I'm not caught up. I haven't seen all the seasons. I think I've kind of fell off early on in the show, but the guy can act. I think he's really good. We need to see him in a big role like this, have a big opportunity, because he could really pull it off, do something great. He has got the weight of an actor. He's strong. He's got a great presence on screen, and he just needs something like this. Put him in the spotlight, make him shine, big name, something like that. I think it'd be incredible, and I would really like to see him in a role like this. Damian Lewis, that's what I got for you. And my other choice, I have Superman himself, Henry Cavill. I love Henry Cavill, and I think you watched The Man from U.N.C.L.E. That's his audition tape to be James Bond. He was playing a little more sarcastic kind of guy in The Man from U.N.C.L.E., but Man from U.N.C.L.E. I think is a really underrated movie. And when you actually sit down and watch Man from U.N.C.L.E., you see, yeah, he can pull off the suave guy. He can be classy, but he was being kind of a little bit of a douche in that movie. But if he's just being like a full-on dude and not really a dick, I think the class, the suave, the talent, the acting, just everything about him, he looks fun, he looks good, he's a nice looking guy. James Bond, he'd be I think the Pierce Brosnan kind of James Bond, or maybe even going back to the Roger Moore. He could be a little more fun and lighthearted and do a bunch of stuff like that. I think Henry Cavill, he's great as Superman. He's my favorite actor in the DCEU right now as Superman, but there's a lot wrong with the MCU. And I think seeing him as James Bond, it would really make his performance as an actor, and it would really justify him being an actor even more than I think he has as Superman. And I really like Henry Cavill, and I really like Superman, but I think the guy works better when he's suave and he's sexy and he's lean, and I think he'd be better as James Bond. And so I also have another name, been talked around before. The guy's voiced the person on like the audiobooks, Idris Elba. I love Idris Elba. The guy is incredible in everything he's ever done. And I don't even have to say why Idris Elba deserves this part, because you know why. You know why he'd be perfect for this role, why he'd be incredible in a performance like this. I would just love to see Idris Elba take on this role. It'd be incredible. Idris Elba for James Bond, like, the guy needs it. He's perfect for the role. He is every woman's dream, and every man wants to be Idris Elba. So yeah, Idris Elba, he's got to be James Bond next. I'd love to see it. So my last two choices, something I've done with all my like who should play people, is I say, what if we cast the role in a different gender? And I know that's kind of a weird thing to think about with James Bond, and it's a whole other topic I want to get into one day is, when it's right to switch out the gender of characters. And is James Bond the right one to do that? I don't know. But if it did, I have two actresses I think will be really good to play James Bond. And you can change her name. I don't care. Maybe Jane Bond. Maybe keep it as James. I don't care. So my first one is Felicity Jones. I think she's a really underrated actress in all the stuff she's done. I loved her in Rogue One. And I know that's kind of like what she's best known for now, but if you give her the chance to do something like this, because she's not doing Rogue One anymore, you give her a chance in a big role like this, do something incredible, it'd really make her career, do something incredible. She's tough, we've seen her be tough before, she can handle that. She can be classy, we've seen her in the Eddie Redmayne movie, the Stephen Hawking one, I can't remember what it was called, but we've seen her do that there. She's a great actress, and she needs another big role that'll just set her over the top. I think she could really pull it off, hold her own against all the other actors who have played James Bond, and Felicity Jones, she could definitely do it. My last actress on here, my last person, is my number one choice to be James Bond next. I am a James Bond fan. I've seen all the movies. I want somebody different each time I see James Bond incarnated. I understand we're trying to keep him as the same person, but I think if you cast Emily Blunt as the next James Bond, you're going to get a different type of Bond than you've seen before. Tough, but classy, and she can hold her own against all the men in the stories. She's one of the most fearsome, but yet light-hearted people I think I've ever seen on screen with all the performances she's ever done. She's going to be Mary Poppins, and then she was in Edge of Tomorrow. She's so versatile. She can do any range you want. You can make so many unique stories, unique character opportunities, so many different things we haven't seen done with James Bond. And Emily Blunt, she's just so strong. She's got the gravitas. She's such a well-rounded actress that I think there's no other actor on this list that could pull off a better James Bond than she could. And it's a whole other conversation. Maybe we make a new spy thriller of a character like James Bond for women. I don't know. But if you're going to cast James Bond now, and I was in charge of casting, I'm saying give it to Emily Blunt. I think she'd be incredible for the role, and she has the weight to do it. So, that's who I think should be James Bond. There's my list of actors and actresses I think could definitely pull off the role, do a good job. Let me know what you think. Who should be James Bond? Do you want to see Daniel Craig keep doing it? Just come on, let me know. Let's talk about it. Alrighty. Good luck.